stakeholders, and we thought that it was very useful and interesting to get external vision on our day and on our dynamics. So I would like to welcome Nya from Healthbridge and Anne from ACR to give their feedbacks. It is very much of an informal exercise, no specific format. So we just thought that it would be nice to just get different perspectives over the day. And it helps us understanding what people like about our network, what is interesting and useful from having this type of annual seminars, and yes, and to help us project ourselves in the future and what are the elements that sounds relevant for people, what should we focus on in the future, what insights you thought were useful. Anything, it's just up to you. I would like to thank you both a lot for accepting to do the type of exercise. I know it's not easy. I think we had quite lively discussion during the day, so yes, thanks. Any of you?
Should I start first? Okay. Thanks, Esther, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anne from the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research, and we have an office in the Australian Embassy, and my role is to coordinate for the agricultural research cooperation between Australia and Vietnam. I never done this kind of reflection before, but when I got the invitation from Estelle, then I said, okay, I should take a good note, and I have quite a big note here. Anyway, I will not go through all kind of note I have. We just went through a big day, and you listened to a lot of presentations and also discussion. And yeah, we from the morning we went through the presentations of the urban food systems and sustainability, and where we listened to the presentations about the fruit, vegetable, and pork, and they touched the issues of safety, of the distributions network with the retailer and wholesaler markets. And after that, we went to the second part. It is about the geographical indications in Asia, and we listened to the presentations about the very specific case studies on cashew with Kuang, and after that is a big presentations from Isabel on the model of GI in the 4 countries. And that the 2 presentations that also generated a very big discussion on the whether the GI is like a tool for marketing or for like food safety control. And we also heard, I still remember Chien from Bác Tom, he said that, okay, in reality, in the market, we don't see GI work at the moment, and we still need a lot of support or work together to have good examples like the GI stories in the Europe, for example. And after lunch, we have very good discussion on the cooperatives. And I realized that many of us in the room, many researchers are working on cooperatives, and a lot of experts on cooperatives here. And the question is still there because we are interested in helping farmers, and cooperatives is a good way to help farmers. But then a question is who support, who help cooperatives. So that also, and there are some agreement and disagreement in the discussion, but it was a very interesting interesting discussion. Okay, back to, if I reflect on the presentation and discussion, and I use the priorities of Asia, because if you look at the strategy of Asia in Vietnam or Asia in Canberra, we have a few priorities, and number one is the food security and the poverty reduction, I only list whatever items that I think relevant to our workshop here. So number two can be like a health and nutrition, and also the inclusive value chains. So for the from the first part, the fruit and vegetable for poor urban or pre-urban the population, and also the cooperative to have farmers, that is really fit well into the first priority of Asia. And then the presentation of safe pork and vegetable supply. It also good for us in terms of health and nutrition as one of the priorities for Asia. And of course, food safety, pork safe is our priority. So that's why we fund for the project. The inclusive value chains, I think the information about the retailer or wholesale market systems or GIs and corporations, very useful for us. But then you see that the next priority is environment and natural resources management. We didn't talk much today, but however, I see that is one of the important things we should include. I don't know, I remember now the report of LACET report where people talk about the nutrition, and when we are if we are like a consumer, we buy food where it's good for our health, that we can afford, but it's also good for environment, and we buy it because also we help farmer. We feel that is like a good thing to do for farmers. So in that sense, I think it is good if we also think about environment as like a waste management and the packaging, like Cham said before. Because it's also as a trend now when all like buyers and also traders, they think about what kind of packaging is good for environment, and also that farmer is good for the consumers. So consumers, they also like. Another thing I didn't see is the role of internet, because we are talking about the food systems in the cities, and the distribution systems of food. What kind of internet use in the cities? Is it like a Grab or like all kind of food? If I need food, can I order just by internet or not? That's the things that I note here, and also about the communications, because I learned from the JICA project that they have very good communication program where they educate consumers. So it's not only one way from supply. Consumers, they also need communication or education to know, okay, what kind of food is a safe food, and also where they can get from, and what is the right choice or good choice of the consumers. The last point I want to make is about the partners and partnerships. I see in the program and also people here today, I know a lot of people. So I think that Asia and Malika, we share a lot of partners together. So that's a good thing. And I believe that Malika is a good platform to share knowledge and information about the food systems in the cities. And I don't know if you talk with different donors, because yesterday I was in a meeting with Canadian group where they just received or they got approval from Vietnamese government to have a food safety program, 15 million Canadian dollars. And so I realized that around the table there are different donors working on food safety only. So like Australian, Canadian, Denmark, who else? New Zealand, they also work on that, and Canada. That's a big program, etc. So if we put or we see and we scan and enlarge that area and share more knowledge with those people, I think we have better information. So up to here, I just want to say congratulations to organizing team of the workshop today and this year, and I'm looking forward to participate in the future events. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity for me to have reflection about the workshop with you. So actually I am working in public health area, and I am responsible for the maternal and child health and nutrition. That we are applying the nutrition sensitive agriculture for the people, especially at household level, to improve nutrition status of women and children. So I am the one who go to a different event like this to learn more about the agriculture in general, and also the practice of agriculture for healthy food for people. Then this is a great opportunity for me, and I have double benefits because I learned from the presentation in the morning, in the afternoon, and also from Anne when she shared further things. So I have quite a lot of common understanding with Anne and some people here. Why I agree with the presentation in the morning that we talk about food safety and food security. For Vietnamese right now, food security become less prioritized compared to food safety. We haven't seen many people in very clear poverty. But if you care for the health and nutrition status, there's quite plenty of malnourished or malnutrition in Vietnamese children and women, especially in hard-to-reach area, like many sites of your research in the northern west area, Lai Châu, Điện Biên, Sơn La, and also in other area in the central or southern of Vietnam. So I think it's quite similar to Laos as well. So why I try to learn what happened. You care, your research care a lot about food safety. Like I like the idea of the public health professional from the Hanoi Public Health University of Public Health researcher involved in the research on pork safety. So I appreciate that very much. That's why I challenge other researchers where the health sector, what's the role of the health sector in the research in how to say, in food products. So we care for that, and I would like to encourage the researcher to invite or involve or explore the opportunity for the public health professional or health professional to participate in the research with you and create such kind of cooperative in the research. So it can you can have opportunity to have more research questions related directly to the healthy food or to the nutrition of people. So I know that each sector have different area of concern. We cannot be very ambitious or too greedy to go too many area or too comprehensive thing. But if at least if we have to focus, to have something focused on nutrition status or healthy food for people, it should be more meaningful for your research result. And to do so, I would like, I see you, for instance, Ricardo had the research on vegetable and fruit consumption in urban of Vietnam. So I appreciate the way Ricardo referred to our research, almost the same research for the minority group in mountainous area. So we can have opportunity to compare the consumption of healthy food in different area. So this is the way where we can have cooperate the idea, the recommendation, or share the knowledge, or translate the knowledge and share the result together. So I appreciate the opportunity to learn from you too. Then I also learned today about the GI, geographic indication. That's something I guess I have no idea about this before, but I guess it's also based something from the GPS system, a lot of things related to the way. And I think why we can use the GI, I guess I guess we can use that as the tool or a technique to support the research method rather than a independent method. I don't know, but I guess I'd like to have that used as the tool or technique for research rather than only that to help the method. So it's narrow the opportunity to identify the result. For instance, I think that we can use the GI to map or identify local contribute to as an indirect indicator, something like that. Like I refer it to the medicine in our area that like a non-clinical technique. We can use it to support the diagnosis of the disease, something like that. So that is my own understanding. So I think it's interesting to see how you use that for your research. But in the presentation, I found that finally you say, okay, it's very difficult to apply GI from the French to Vietnamese, something like that. So that's my understanding about the presentation. Then also I agree with the Xian comment that we'd like to hear more about recommendation of the education for farmer and user. It's not only research, then we can say, okay, this is finding, but we'd like to have more recommendation about the how to apply the result in reality. like how to educate or how to, if the farmer need to have a kind of certification, how to apply that. And that's also the representation about the one fit all or Tyler, the standardization or standard for the farmer or the applying in the how to say in the activity in the research that apply everything in one model for everyone or Tyler. So for sure we cannot say one fit all, not easy. So we still have to think about how to tailor, because everything influenced by so many factors. Like in healthcare as well, we have not only the tradition, for instance, of the healthcare, like a tradition for food producing, and also healthcare. So we have tradition, we have culture, we have the habit, we have opportunity or distance, or support from the policy. So we cannot easily say that one can fit all. So we may have to continue to follow with the tailoring for each intervention. Then, and again, at lunch, I have opportunity to discuss with some of my colleagues in the workshop, and we found that we would like to see more analysis of, that based on the user demand, rather than just identify the research question based on a kind of theory. We may have, I don't know, I guess you already have some kind of formative research before directly go to the intervention or pilot your research. But I think the preparation for the research should be something like a formative research or environment analysis, including analyze everything. So I hope that this kind of approach would be apply for all the research. I am also the implementing researcher in public health, so that's why I would like to express some of my understanding about the research I hear today. But anyway, I really appreciate the opportunity that I am offered to learn about that and to share with you our concern about nutrition care and health care for everyone. So I would again encourage you to invite, involve, and explore opportunity and offer opportunity for the researcher in healthcare or in public health to involve in the research with you to go further, to have the result come closer to our people. Thank you very much.
So good afternoon, and I would like to say something on behalf of the organizer. Although the work here is very much the burden for the Vietnamese team, but I would like to first of all thank you so much for giving us your time to participate in this special and meaningful event of the Malica platform, because this is the major reason for organizing this event is to listen from you, listen from the question that you have, the reflection that you have, the comments on the research that being conducted or being implemented or done by Malica partners. Because all your questions, comments, and everything is very valuable for us to reflect on the research that we are conducting, or reflect on the directions of the research that might be taken into consideration in the future. And of course, the the applied research that you mentioned is also the key or quite a very important aspect of the research, that after the result of the research, that how can we make use of that research result in to benefit the society or benefit the stakeholder in the value chain. And also the comment on the food environment or internet and food access, which is a little bit touched upon the presentation this morning on the very first presentation of Miguel. Yeah, Miguel on the food environment, that how can we, and how can we take into consideration of the environmental aspect into the food system. So I feel very thankful for everyone for your comments and also the reflection on the meaningful event today, and thank you again.
Thanks, Chipasong. Well, I think, as Chipasong rightly say, we are very happy. Thank you so much for the lively discussion. I think this is very much for us a confirmation of the interest in having that annual meeting, and we are very much incentivized in doing it again next year. Do not hesitate to give feedback if you would like us to use as a format for discussion, etc. We tried the panel model this time. We are happy to change the format, but what I understand is that there is a strong interest into this type of interactions as we had today. And thanks, Anne, and thanks, Nya, for pushing us to move even further into working with other types of researchers and with practitioners, and for pushing us further into sharing our knowledge and understanding with the donor community and helping creating more common knowledge and moving forward. So thanks a lot to all, and we are definitely very much fulfilled with the day and happy, so very much prepared to go further and do it again. Thanks a lot. And there are two very small things. We were not going to conclude. We will propose on our website minutes of the day, of today, or key insights. Just two things that I found quite interesting during the day is a strong focus on working under a gradual improvement approach. I think that was quite a lot stressed in the morning, and trying to work and accompany transition and build on existing practices and on knowledge built in local people and in value chain operators to upgrade system progressively. So I thought it was a very strongly stressed today. And I think this goes together with a strong statement also in different sessions about sometimes the lack of domestic expertise, for example, on certification and accreditation. Of this morning, this was again raised in terms of cooperatives and services to cooperative extension officers, capacity to support cooperatives. So I think that question of creating more local capacity is extremely important. That is one of the mandate of Malica. So I think definitely we will follow on with that and do not hesitate to help us improving our way of doing it. And then the other things is that with more and more concerns about sustainability, research is very important in helping us understanding the type of trade-offs that we face. And I think it is something that was stressed in particular by Cham when she was raising the question about waste. Okay, we are going to work in the value chains, improve the packaging, maybe increase food safety that way, but then what about waste management? So we know there are quite a number of trade-offs, and we've got more and more understanding of that, but we need to create that as a more common understanding so that it actually influences the important decisions. And I think that there is a role for research for that, and definitely Malica is willing to work on that with all of our partners, because that's the way we can really work nicely on these things. So again, thank you again for joining us together. Thank you for your support, because in addition to participating to annual meetings, we are very much in interaction with most of you in many other settings. So thanks again, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye.